Good morning, everybody. I'm going to discuss with you the ovarian cycle, which I also like to call it the roller coaster of hormones. Ovarian cycle of women. So women go through a roller coaster of hormones. So you can go ahead and draw this if you like. The first hormone allows your body to send a signal to the ovaries, which, as you know, is called FSH. That's the first one. As soon as the signal is sent and the ovaries receive that information, it's going to then start producing estrogen. So the next step here is estrogen produced in the ovaries. As soon as the level of estrogens start going down, then the body, and I'll change colors, will start producing LH, the luteinizing hormone. And on the last step, same concept, as this level goes up in the body, the fourth and last hormone is called the progesterone. Progesterone. So this gives us the acronym FELP, F-E-L-P. You must know them in order. All this goes on in the ovaries, and each one of these have a specific action. Okay. And all of them, it's really a yo-yo between the brain. So as we know, F for FSH is in the brain or the pituitary gland. Estrogen then is in the ovary, back again, brain, and the progesterone, again, the ovaries. So this gives us a funny acronym, BOBO. BOBO will have the hormones FELP, which means, as you see in that order, FSH, estrogen, LH, progesterone. So what's interesting, smack in the middle of this cycle, right here, is where ovulation occurs. Ovulation. And so it's important to note that this hormone, LH, is the one that liberates the egg out of the ovary. From the beginning until halfway, so let's say the girl has a cycle of 30 days, the first 15 days is mainly to develop the egg. As soon as LH comes in play, now the egg is ready to get out of the ovary and go into the fallopian tubes and get ready for possible fertilization. So I encourage you to draw this, a nice way to remember the order of the hormones and where they are located, where they start. This whole process takes 30 days. That's the cycle. On average, some girls it's 28 days, some girls it's 30 days, depends. And at the end, the body decides either progesterone will be used to be able to make the girl pregnant, prepare for pregnancy, or it will be getting the lady prepared for period. When she gets her period, means that the egg is not fertilized, and all that stuff that we prepared is wasted, not needed anymore. Whether at the end, basically, it's either the girl gets her period or she gets pregnant. Depends if Prince Charming has arrived. And that's why my next little drawing here, oh, actually it's down here, I have a castle. So this castle mimics basically the uterus. The girl prepares for an eventual pregnancy. And the castle usually is empty. And every month we prepare, the progesterone helps to put in extra furniture, quote unquote furniture, prepares the princess to receive her Prince Charming. But then at the end, if the Prince Charming hasn't arrived, all of that stuff, all that extra food that they prepared, all that furniture goes to waste. And then there's no pregnancy. However, if the Prince Charming comes in, then everybody remains in the castle, and all of the stuff that they did to prepare for this great Prince Charming will not go to waste. Yeah, and then they live happily ever after. Actually, not forever, but for 9 months in that castle. So if I show you a small demonstration here, pay attention to these follicles. So every single one of these little white little spots here, these are all what we call follicles, and these are all premature eggs, and they're just waiting for a signal from the brain, from FSH right here. Watch what happens as we start this animation. There we go. Oops. The animation. And hello. There we go. Watch what happens. See? And the egg is released. So we watch this again. Take a look. Pay attention to the follicles as they grow. Look, 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 look. Boom. And ovulation. The egg is out into the fallopian tube. And let's watch that again, but this time pay attention to the arrows, the level of FSH in the beginning and at the end. Pay attention. Look at the FSH. Increase. FSH in blue, sorry, right here. And progesterone increase. Let's watch it again. Pay attention to the blue. And then LH, boom, look at the purple arrow. And progesterone last. You saw that? So what's interesting now, we're left with this empty follicle. But this empty follicle is actually useful. This is where all the progesterone is. So the girl always starts with approximately, women have about 700 follicles first when they're born, even before they're born. And all these follicles are just waiting for a signal from the brain. And at the end, they end up with, you see, a growing follicle. This is half meiosis. And then this continues the second part. In the meantime, look at the progesterone increasing. It causes the inside of the uterus to get thicker and thicker with time. Okay? Estrogen in here is also called estradiol. It's another form of estrogen, but that doesn't matter. Just pay attention to what happens. You see that? Boom, it increases. And boom, all the levels slowly decrease, giving place for the uterus to get thicker, the lining inside to get thicker. For today, though, what really matters is what goes on in the ovary. The next time we talk, we'll talk about what goes on inside the uterus. Just pay attention now what happens inside the ovary when there's a contraception. Nothing. You see? So contraceptions are chemicals that mimic pregnancy. So the body believes that there is a pregnancy, so no egg is being formed or developed, I should say. And in pregnancy, let's watch what happens. The egg gets out as usual, goes into the fallopian tube, and watch what happens. There it is. It will embed itself in the uterus and send another signal to the ovaries. Thank you very much. We no longer need an egg after this. But don't worry, this is an additional hormone we will not talk about today. So that's it. Basically, remember those key hormones, where they are located. And at the same time, I'll give you guys a minute to draw. Or underneath your drawing of the roller coaster, I'd like you to draw a uterus. I know it may not be that easy, but this is how you will remember. So we have the ovary and another ovary right here. Sorry, my drawing skills are not the best. And we start off with some follicles, a little bit everywhere. However, I would like you to have one of them draw it, make it look like it's getting bigger and bigger, bigger, bigger. And at some point it reaches ovulation, when now it's going out. See that? I'm just that. So these little circles are called follicles, and they contain the premature egg. They contain the premature egg, which we call the oocyte. A bit like when we talked about spermatogenesis with the spermatocytes. These are called oocytes, which are premature eggs, contain premature eggs, which is our oocytes. So as they grow, now again, what jumpstarts the growth of these is that first hormone, FSH, number 1, coming from the brain. And we proceed now that the egg is in development. The follicles will also produce estrogen. That's your second hormone. The estrogen will help develop the egg, but at the same time, simultaneously, will start getting the uterus ready, slowly but surely. Doesn't do the full job, but it starts it. Okay? Because it's not a quick thing. It takes a whole month to get the uterus ready. Finally, we reach the point where the follicle is large enough to get out or developed. I would say, you know how meiosis, you have the first division that all happens in the ovary, and then the second division starts as soon as the egg is out and about. So that would be the third hormone right here, LH, luteinizing hormone, which causes the egg to get out of the ovary. Okay, and this is where the ovulation occurs. As soon as the egg is out into the fallopian tube, we reach the last hormone, progesterone. Progesterone now is found in that leftover bag, that leftover follicle that's right here. And it's not waste, it's actually filled with progesterone. And that's the one that really continues filling up the uterine lining right here, preparing for an eventual pregnancy. If the Prince Charming actually comes in and fertilizes the egg, well then this will transform into the amniotic sac for the embryo. Otherwise, these will be flushed down into the menstruation as the period, right? So let's just repeat this. The progesterone basically is located inside the, what we call the yellow body. Yellow body. It's located inside the yellow body. So I encourage you to look at your notes on the study guide, in the study guide, page 139. Oogenesis, as we said, is basically the process during which ova or eggs are created, a bit like how we had spermatogenesis, the creation of sperm. And these are the 4 hormones, as we said, part of this process. So look, you have FELP here, F-E-L-P, the acronym, and it tells you in detail what I just talked about. FSH directs the ovary to select and mature an ovarian follicle. Estrogen then continues, released by the maturing follicle to help prepare the uterus. So it's a slow beginning, the first 2 weeks, to receive a fertilized egg. I must say also that it helps the development of the egg. LH continues, that's the one that releases the egg out of the ovary, and the progesterone helps the uterine lining to get thicker and thicker. At the end, P, progesterone, stands also for pregnancy or period. 3 P's. If you want to add the 4th one, that would be pain as well. Either way, there's pain. So that's it for me today. I hope you understood the lesson on the ovarian cycle. Next time I see you, we'll talk about the menstrual cycle. Have a nice afternoon. Bye.